Hello everyone, today's subject is about an ingredient that we find is in the vegan world that's used quite extensively that probably is not one of the better ingredients to use. And we've heard of those ingredients like soy that are grown, forests that are ripped up, and soy that's grown to feed cows. And while it's a great source and we teach how to use it at our academy, it's not always the best for the environment which it rips up. We've had the same thing with palm oil. A lot of countries use palm oil around the world. And we've discovered around the times that palm oil really does some destruction on the environment. But for people in those countries where palm oil is only available, we teach you how to be able to use it and teach you alternatives as well. A lot of times we're searching for palm oils that is actually grown in sustainable environments, and that's coming really strong from a lot of large food companies. But there's another ingredient that we've discovered over time in research that is quite frequently used by vegans that's probably not the best vegan ingredient. And I'm going to walk you kind of around in a circle to get back to what that ingredient is. So if I were to say, what do you all feel about the abuse of children and sex trafficking and stuff? It's a horrible thing. We know that. It's a bad thing. And it's not good. And so the abuse of humans, we've determined, is not good. Number two, if we're causing destruction to an animal or we're hurting an animal in the process, that's probably not the best vegan ingredient because we're causing pain or harm to an animal. And that's not really accepted as a plant-based or a vegan way of life. And the third is, if this product is actually coming from places that require a lot of plane travel and a lot of distance to be able to get to us, that's probably not the best environmental choice for us to make as an ingredient. So what I have to teach you is about a product that is commonly used as people move from being a vegetarian or conventional diets. They move into the vegan world, they readily use this ingredient, and they don't know some of the bad and horrible things about this product. And that's one of the things you're going to learn at our academy. And while we'll still teach you to use this product, we're going to teach you the downside of it. We're going to teach you how you can use alternative ingredients to be able to replace this, to be able to make things that taste great and amazing, are healthy, but probably most important, are much lower cost, both in terms of dollars, cents, or euros, or whatever you're spending, but at the same time, it's lower cost on the animal that it's hurting. So what is that ingredient? That ingredient, folks, is cashews. I'm sorry to say it. We all love cashews, but along our discovery, as we continue to research and travel the world to understand where ingredients are coming from, we've determined that cashews are probably not the best ingredient to a certain animal. It's really bad to one animal. And that animal that it's horrible to is human beings. That's you and me. People, we are animals as well. And we have to agree, as people that are out there trying to pursue this plant way of life for whatever reason, I think harming human beings is not that great. And what we've discovered along the way is that's what's happening in India, where most all the cashews in the world are processed and grown. It's an abusive process on the women that actually have to process those cashews. And if you research and you dig in and you learn, you're going to learn that cashews are actually a hand process of removing the cashews so they don't break. Machinery hasn't really worked that great, so it's a hand process. And the way that women have to sit in a crouched position for 8 to 10 hours a day to be able to get the cashews is pretty harmful in women's bodies that have been doing it for a long time, and it's damaging them, their internal organs, etc. It's not a great thing. And the second part is, most of you probably don't know that when you break open the nut of a cashew to be able to take the nut out, it actually has an acidic property that actually damages people's hands and makes their hands in a horrible position. People might say, well, why don't they use rubber gloves? Well, the way that it's paid, or people are paid to actually get cashews out of the shells, is they're paid on how many kilos they get done. Not on time, they're not paid by hours, they're paid by how many kilos or weight they can get out in a given time. So what women have discussed is that if they have the gloves, it slows them down. It slows down the process of getting the nut out properly. So what we've learned is that doing this thing with cashews and using cashews, whether you're making a cashew cheesecake or a cashew cheese, whether you're using those ingredients or not, ultimately you have to realize that you're hurting a human being. Because as people are moving to plant-based diets, the first thing they always do is they always run to cashews. And so the consumption of cashews around the world is going up dramatically. And more importantly, cashews are now being done in Africa as well, where they're being pulled, they're being put apart, and then they're being sent over to India to be processed. So we're talking about a nut that's grown in Africa, flown all the way over to India, and then it's being processed around the world. So this is a nut that gets more miles than anything. I want its frequent flyer miles. So what we're trying to show is that We like cashews. We love them. But we want to have respect for those women in India that are on their hands and knees all day long. We want to respect by teaching people how to use alternative ingredients that won't do as much damage, that allow people to start raising the price of cashews so that women can make more money, because the amount of money that's made off of cashews is really ridiculous and high. But probably most important is it's high cost. Cashews are really high cost around the world. And as soon as you become a vegan, you start using them, you start realizing, God, I'm using a lot of cashews. So what we're going to teach you at our academy, which we do in our vegan cheese course, in our level 1 course, and in our pastry course, we're going to teach you how to take the typical recipe that would use a cashew. We're going to teach you how to do that so you're comfortable and you know how to do that. But at the same time, we're going to teach you how to use alternative ingredients that, number 1, don't change the flavor or texture. Number 2, the products are actually much lower cost, as much as 10 times lower cost. And the third is it's going to be recognizable ingredients that you know and use all the time. Or we're going to teach you to take plant-based derivative products used in conjunction, which make things much lower cost, better. So we want to make things that are really good and tasty. We want to make things that are healthy for the planet and healthy for the humans that are interacting with it. So you might think we're a little strange academy. We do lead the world in vegan cooking. We're trying to teach people more progressive things. We did teach how to make cashew stuff in the past, but we've decided in 2020 that we're going to leap forward and we're going to start showing people that you have to take responsibility, not only for the planet and what we're doing, but at the same time, if you want to go make it in the world of vegan stuff, you have to make a low cost, great tasty alternative. So that's what we're here to teach you. We're going to teach you that old-fashioned way, because if you decide for your reasons that you want to use cashews, that's your choice. But we're also going to teach you how to use other ingredients to make things much lower cost. So what do you learn different at our school? You learn quite a bit. You're going to learn about ingredients that are sitting right beside you that you never even thought to use, that can promote the exact and create the same textures and everything to make a vegan cheesecake that costs, I'll say this again, 1/10 the cost of using cashews. And what that means is it's lower cost than a conventional cheesecake as well. Does it taste any different than a cheesecake? No, it doesn't. So that's what you're going to learn at school. We'd love to have you. Take care. Bye.